With the woke, it's always about destroying things that you love, or breaking them down, or subverting expectations. Those are all code words that they use for basically making their own self-insert fan fiction that they're not listening to the fans. In fact, they stick middle fingers to the fans every single time. And it covers for their, quote, bad work because they're making it their own. And I guess Leslye Headland is writing what she knows. The media is going full shill over this last episode. It's absolutely crazy. We're going to get into this in just a moment. Hey guys, I'm John Delarose. I'm a #1 best-selling science fiction writer, and I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. Join us here. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it. So please hit that button. And of course, hit the like button as well. Help this get seen by everybody out there. And I'd also love for you to come in and check out my alternative to Star Wars. This is Justified Saga of the Nano-Templar. It is a science fiction trilogy that really leans into action, adventure, heroism. You know, the stuff that you used to get out of this property. So check it out. It's on Amazon on ebook, print, and audio. That link's in the description below. Thank you guys so much for reading and joining us here. So the story of the day is about Headland, of course, breaking down the Jedi as a concept, and we knew this going in. And part of this grossness with like the naked Sith and all that is to paint the Sith as sexy, as something good. And they've been muddying the waters between good and evil in this, which kind of flies in the face of Star Wars as a whole concept. If you look at the original trilogies, very, very clear, especially the first one. Empire, bad. Rebels, good. Blow up, bad. That's literally the entire plot. Very simple, and it works. It resonates because it just feels good. Now, when you say that the bad guys who have been established as bad guys and are all about hate and anger and all that are somehow good for like feeding into their cells, and if you look at the weird way in episode 5 of this show, after the lightsaber battle, where the guy says he's just giving in to his darkness and the Jedi are oppressing him for being a minority, you kind of see exactly how Headland views herself. She views herself as the dark side, and she does view herself as oppressed and just misunderstood by the light. So she knows she's evil at the end of the day, and that's what it's about. It's crazy to me because I saw that, and I was shocked that there wasn't more commentary on that one scene, because it was very clear that the Sith are an allegory for gay people in this, and that the gay people are being oppressed by the stodgy old religious people in the Jedi Order. It was so cringy when that hit. I was like, wow. But I think I was the only channel that actually talked about that. Very weird. But it's intentional, and she says it's intentional here. So she spoke to Collider, and she said, the Maggie Lovett of Collider said, "For you as a fan of Star Wars, how much fun has it been to pick apart these ideas? Pick apart. That's intentional. That have been baked into the franchise for so long. Flip the narrative a little bit and make people look at things in a very different point of view. You see how all this is. This is why these shows don't land. They just take something established. They take the morality of the show and they say, no, actually, evil's good. Good is evil. And people watch it and they go, what? Headland says, I hope it's making people look at it from a different point of view. I can understand that fans, especially people who don't know the High Republic, may feel like I'm criticizing the Jedi as they exist in George Lucas's oeuvre, meaning the prequels in episodes 5 through 6. That's not the case. So you really don't understand the lore, fans. You don't understand George Lucas's Jedi, the guy who created it and did all of it and ran all of it it was his vision. He didn't know the truth. Now, the High Republic, if you don't know, is a series that was made over the last couple of years by Disney and Marvel Comics, and they produce books and comics about a, quote, diverse and inclusive Jedi Order, and put out all these weird books with a bunch of course, LGBTQ crap and allegories for Black Lives Matter. They put a lady named Justina Ireland in charge of this, and that Justina Ireland lady is a writer who is just completely has her career from race baiting. She goes out there. Her most famous thing before this was she was imploring people not to read books written by white people. And that's who Disney hired to spearhead this. So, a lot of people don't know this because nobody read those books, nobody read those comics because they were cringe and they just sat on the shelves. So, it's somebody's terrible fan fiction that she's upholding as the lore. not George Lucas's vision. This should tell you that we've got a major, major problem right here. We're in that area that Obi-Wan is talking about in A New Hope, the period where the proliferation of power is so huge and far-reaching. Actually, in the next episode, you're going to see how far-flung particular missions with the Jedis and lack of oversight. So they're just incompetent space cops. Oh, so sad. We get a little bit of a tease in this episode, the whole thing with Rey and Court talking about this audit of the Jedi Order. I mean, they were getting into audits. How boring is this? The prequels, which is very political, very political. It's always been political, Star Wars. Very much a response to that type. She's using every narrative thing here. Very much a response to that type of dynamic with the Jedi. So, yes, comparing these Jedi to the Jedi in the sequels is a little difficult because it's 100 years, it's just a century. So, yeah, we shouldn't be comparing these Jedi to the actual, heroic Jedi. Even though it was all, if you look at the way Obi-Wan talked about things in the movies, the Jedi were mysterious, amazing space wizards who were just larger than life. They were mythological beings, and we just see incompetent weirdos trying to force their religion upon the poor Sith instead, who are really the good guys. It's really creepy. I can't believe that she's going out here with an interview like this, but I can't believe a lot of what's been done here. Going back to your question, one of the interesting ways to unpack the Jedi is when they're at their height, as they are, what are the things they're doing differently? A Jedi doesn't pull their weapon unless prepared to kill. That's just a High Republic concept. They don't have battle droids. They don't have other people with lightsabers. There's no reason to pull it. Comparing that to anybody in the prequels is not the same. They're not the same Jedi. So what is this then? If this is not the same Jedi, if this is not the same lore, if this is not the same George Lucas vision, why does this show exist? It exists completely to subvert it and put in Leslye Headland's weird lesbian lover into a position where she's the strongest femaleist lead and the best Jedi out there. Because this is all about self-insert weird fan fiction stuff. It's not shocking that Headland would want to tear down the Jedi because later in the interviews, she admitted that she put her personal ideology into the character of Kimmer, the Sith villain. After briefly touching on the relationship between Kimmer and Osha, Headland said, "Once the response happened, I was like, great, everyone's responding the way I did to Manny's performance, to the intention of the character, to his personal ideology that I really relate with." But because if you think about it, he's very much the counterculture character of the show. So look at this, the counterculture character. These people who are embedded in culture like Leslye Headland really think they're some counterculture resistance. They always talk about this, even though they are the establishment. They view themselves as these anti-establishment heroes, and it comes from the whole boomer generation, right? And punk rock and all that stuff coming out of that. And they really are so out of touch with reality. It's absolutely insane. That's why they can't write anything good. When you don't understand reality whatsoever, you don't understand good writing concept. It's very simple. I love that everybody's focused on everything else, she says. Everybody's focused on how bad this is really what the problem is. The Rotten Tomatoes reviews are still very, very low. They claim, the review bomb is over, but it's still sitting at 14% audience score. After weeks and weeks of it just dropping because people don't like this anymore. People are, in fact, tuning out of this in droves. It's absolutely crazy. So the Sith are just about freedom now, the bad guys. This is insane. Freedom to wield power the way I like. See, like I said, this is a self-insert about queer ideology. This is exactly what I was telling you at the beginning of this video. Without having to answer to Jedi like you old stodgy religious people. I want a pupil, an acolyte, but this one went back on our deal. She exposed me, so now I have to kill every one of you. I don't make the rules. The Jedi do. The Jedi say I can't exist. And if you notice, that's what they're saying in the whole LGBT propaganda crap. They're putting this crap in front of kids, and people are saying, whoa, stop sexualizing kids. And they come back at you with, are you triggered that I exist? That's their deal now. And no, it's not a state of existence. It's a state of action. To be in these lifestyles, it's a weird sexual fetish lifestyle. You should be doing that behind closed doors, and you should be ashamed of it because it's weird, and you shouldn't put it in front of kids. It should be that simple. But this is what they're actually trying to say with the Sith here. They're trying to say the Sith should just be allowed to exist, that they're not just bad, it's just wielding power the way they want. It's about freedom, right? they're actually the good guys. And that's why this fails so hard on every level. It really does. Leslye Headland's admitting it, bald-faced right here in an interview with Collider. She's not even ashamed of it. She's not ashamed that she's destroying the franchise worse than it's ever been done before. They're proud of it. And this is the people that you're dealing with. Oh my God. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out my book, Justified Saga of the Nano Templar. This does it right. It's in the description below. We'll be back soon.